Your Creative Push, episode 128.
In this moment, it's great. It's like, well, now I can say that I am a proper artist, no?
Welcome to Your Creative Push, the podcast that pushes you to pursue your creative passions. I'm your host, Youngman Brown, and my guest today is Laurita Mazapán. Laurita is a body artist and photographer who paints her body and the bodies of others to create an inner portrait of people where feelings and emotions are represented. She uses body painting to represent the person within the body and to capture the moment that will disappear tomorrow. And Laurita, thank you so much for coming on the show. I was wondering, could you tell me a little bit more about what you try to do with your art?
For me, art is a way of living. I think it's something that helps me to cope with my daily life. It's a way of releasing stress. It's a way of exploring myself and knowing myself better. So for me, now art is like, it's not just the piece, it's the whole process that make me grow up and learn a lot and cope the situations.
Were you ever afraid to paint on your own body?
No, I think it came as something natural. At the beginning, the body paint was not something that I used to use systematically. I used to use more photography, and the body paint was just something to help me with the photography. But little by little, I was realizing that the body painting was actually the main character of these photographs. And now I know that is something that the art I do is basically based in this body art, body painting.
When you're painting on another person's body, is that ever weird or is it ever awkward?
In another person. Well, it's more difficult than painting in myself. When I paint to myself, I know exactly what I want to do. When I paint to another person, I have to do before a conversation to understand completely what they have to do. So in the moment that I understand, it stopped being weird, because when I connect with the person and I understand exactly, because it's a long process until I get the metaphors and the result, the draft of what we want to do. So it's quite satisfactory, actually. It's not weird. It's something that I love to do with them, because I am actually helping to express what I do with my own paintings. So it's quite satisfactory. I started later. I start with myself, and afterwards I started with other people. As I understand perfectly the process, they understand it when we start our conversations to get the metaphors. I think everything is quite natural and quite we flow in the process. So it's not weird. It's great.
Do you ever feel bad when you're done doing it and it's time to take a shower and it's time to wash away what's essentially a masterpiece? Do you ever feel guilty or bad about that, cleaning up?
Not really. I think I learned a lot with this process, and until get the essence of what I actually do. To be honest, sometimes it's like a release, even if it's a good thing what I am doing, but I am completely aware that what I am doing is representing the present moment, is representing something that is happening now. Basically, I don't feel bad even from the beginning, because I knew exactly what I was doing. And at the beginning, when I started to do my body art, it was in a period that I was not feeling very well. So for me, it was actually a relief. So the first body paintings were something that I actually wanted to take out, because I wanted that it was ephemeral and just forget that part and going forward. Well, all the body paintings are positive, are optimist, even if I am representing something that is hard for me. However, after I got other body paintings to represent something happy, a very good moment, and I don't know why, but probably because I got used to, but I have never felt bad. However, people that I paint, they usually, I observe it, that they have difficulties to get rid of the painting. And some of them even, if we went out later to have a drink together, they went with the body painting. Yes, they kept it for the whole day, so it's quite funny.
Yeah, it's still stuck. What do you have a specific soap that you use or just water to get it away?
It's incredible, but in the moment that you put warm water, it just drops. So it's impressive.
Yeah. Well, that's great that you don't feel sad about it. And I understand what you're saying about, how you're trying to capture a moment and it's not about making it permanent. That's why you take the photographs of it. It's not meant to last forever. And I love that mentality of it. Laurita, could you take us back to your first or one of your first creative moments and tell us that story?
Yeah, well, I create my first oil paint when I was 7 years old. Since I was a child, I used to love art, but it was not until 2012 when I moved to London when I had the feeling of restarting to create, because I had a gap of 10 years that I didn't paint anything. So in that moment when I restarted with art, I restarted with photography, as I said before, and little by little I started to introduce the body paint. So it was just a way of getting what I do now. But when I came to London, I really needed to express myself. It was a not easy moment, and I really, really needed to express myself. So I went to an art shop to get some oil paints. However, I found proper body paint. So it came to my face that I needed to paint myself to express what was going on. No, I had a lot of time and a lot of time to think also, and to create. This is when I started actually to do my first body art. It was not very good. Okay, it's something that I don't show, and it's actually my computer, and I don't show it. However, it was the first step, and I felt that great creating it, and I just found gold. No, I just came across with something that changed my life. So
yeah, and I think that's a really important lesson. It's the first things that you create aren't always going to be the best things, and it's just about putting in the time and trying again and again until you find that gold, like you're talking about. I love it.
Exactly. Yeah, this is completely correct. This is what I actually think about art.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are there some things that initially held you back from being creative, and do you still experience any resistances?
When we start something new, usually the first artworks are not the best. And it's completely normal because we don't have a lot of experience. And we commit mistakes and we have to learn from them. Sometimes we don't know where we are exactly going, but while we are experiencing and creating, we find the direction to find what defines an artist and what is our style. In the beginning, we start doing something that everyone does. In this moment, when you are trying to find yourself, is when you are vulnerable, and until you find yourself as an artist. This is what happened to me. So when I was a teenager, I was painting since I was 7, but when I started kind of 16 years old, I decided to change the theme of my artworks. And it was a period of my life when I started to be aware about world injustices, environment problems, metaphysical and philosophical issues, and all kind of themes that actually a teenager can be worried about. Well, my masterpiece was something that my mom used to hate, which was an embryo inside of the earth absorbing all the resources and converting them into money, and while going through the umbilical cord. Well, my mom was like, what's going on, So it's true, it's not a beautiful flower, but it has sense in the moment that I was living. So I remember that a lot of significant people gave their opinion and say things like, this is an awful and scary painting. Why you don't try to do a beautiful landscape or a branch of flowers again? So in this moment, this fact affected me quite a lot, and my motivation was in a big part influenced by the opinions of other people. So I came back to flowers again, and I lost my motivation because I don't really wanted to do this. I just wanted to express myself, and I felt even ridiculous about what I was doing. And I had a gap about 10 years not painting, not doing anything, because I didn't find what I wanted to find in art.
Your story is a very common story that we hear on this podcast from artists, is that, you know, you know the thing in your heart that you want to do, but then other people tell you, no, that's not what you're supposed to be doing, or that's not going to make money, or that's, you know, not appropriate, or whatever. Sometimes it leads to like a 10-year gap, like you're saying, because the things that they're telling you to do, you're not interested in. Why would you want to waste your time doing that? So you're just like, screw it, you know, I'm not going to do anything. And I think that's a really important lesson, is just to not have that space and to not worry about other things. It's doing the thing that you want to do, that you know that you're supposed to do.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Could you take us back to the story of your worst moment or hardest time when you really struggled with resistance?
My worst moment, yes. I met somebody that promised me that he's going to facilitate me a big exhibition in Madrid. Well, he's somebody that has many contacts in the artwork and in the world in general. In this moment, when he offered me all these things, I just found the essence of my artworks, and I was very proud of it. And at the same time, I wanted to escape from London. It was the first year that I was there. It was like the first or second year. London is great, okay, but I found the great part of London later. But my first years were not very good because of the change, no? So I wanted to come back to Madrid, and I thought that this could be the beginning of my art career and the place where I wanted to live, and at the same time doing what I actually wanted to do. And this man was offering me like something that was like a very, very good opportunity. Mm-hmm. So it was not just doing the exhibition, but also meeting some people. So I was completely excited. It was like a dream. And I was scared because I didn't have big experience as an artist. I mean, in the market, no, like exhibitions, sales. I didn't know a lot about things. He did many questions about it, and I was not very ready for them. So until this moment, I was just creating for fun, to self-explore myself. However, I didn't have even printed an image, and I didn't know exactly what was the biggest format and all these things. So what happened is that after I was struggling to find, to work in all these things, I created many artworks, everything for this exhibition. For some months, we were in contact. He was motivating me, encouraging me, and suddenly he disappeared. He disappeared, no message. He ignored my emails. I couldn't understand what happened. And I felt really, really bad. I thought it was my opportunity. And I felt like a big failure. I felt like ignored and even humiliated, no, because it's like all this energy for nothing. After I realized that it's not for nothing, I learned many things that I didn't question about the prices. I didn't question about the size. I didn't know, but with this opportunity, I started to question about it, and so I grew up in this side of the art. I read not long time ago something from Paulo Coelho, who says that there's no a unique opportunity because life always gives you another chance, and this is completely true. At the beginning, I felt like that was my opportunity, and I felt like I'm not going to have any other one. After I realized that, first of all, everything depends on me, not on other people. And another thing is like now I don't trust somebody that just come and give you everything for nothing. And well, I mean, now it's not important anymore. In the moment it was something horrible. After I realized that I love to have my independence as an artist, and probably if I have to do something with him, I have to adapt it. So, well, now it's okay.
Yeah. I love that Paulo Coelho quote. I think that, yeah, you're right. There is always going to be another opportunity, and just because things don't go right in this one particular instance, it doesn't mean that you're a failure. It doesn't mean that things won't go right eventually. And I think that it's really important to hold on to that to know that another opportunity will come forward.
Exactly.
On the flip side, do you have a best moment or a most triumphant creative moment that you could tell us about?
Yes. Well, basically, when I finished one of my artworks that is called Breathing Clear Blue, and I saw them a proper mirror of my soul. In this moment is when I understood the essence of my whole project and the importance of it, and everything was like a eureka, no? Everything had sense in 1 second. It's like I released a lot of things in this artwork, because at the beginning I was creating and I thought that it was very therapeutical for me, because I was feeling very good every time I did it. However, in this moment, when I did this, specifically this painting, it's like it came to my brain exactly what I am doing. So I discovered my essence. I think this is one of the best moments for an artist, because you do a very long way. No, it's like I divided in the process of an artist in 3 parts, that actually you cannot put a barrier in every phase because everything is related. But yeah, I think I lived this process, and I think I share it with many artists. No, like the first moment you do what everybody does. Afterwards, you try to find yourself. And in the moment that you do the first artwork, that you see that now I'm different. Now I've got my own personality. In this moment, it's great. It's like, well, now I can say that I am a proper artist. No?
Yeah, it's like a birth almost.
Yes.
It's like you said, a eureka moment where it's just like all of a sudden you get super excited about what you're doing, because it's unlike anything that anybody else has ever done that you've been trying until then. And yeah, it is like a birth. It's like your birthday as an artist.
It's true. It's completely true. You feel like you are different, and you got your personality, your own personality, and that's important.
You have a lot of projects going on, and you have a lot of things on your plate. Do you have a formula for balancing your time?
Well, for me, I don't try not to torture myself. I mean, yeah, because I would like to be creating all the time. However, I know that sometimes I got more time, sometimes I don't have a lot of time. And I do many things apart from all this. So sometimes I can create 2 artworks in 1 day, sometimes 1 in 1 month. So I just accept it, that there are different moments in the life, and just flow with the circumstances, no? And apart from the physical time that I've got, it's also true that sometimes I have a lot of inspiration and I really, really need to create. Sometimes I am more quiet. And so what I do is just to flow with how it is.
Yeah, it's understanding your mind and your body, and understanding how inspiration comes, because it does come in spurts. It comes in uncharacteristic times. It's sometimes like you said, it's the same for me. It's some days I can just write all day long and the ideas keep coming and I can't get them on paper fast enough. And then other days I'm just sitting there thinking and trying to come up with a good idea. But it's like you said, it's being aware of it, and also to not put too much pressure on yourself, to not be too hard on yourself when the ideas don't come.
It's basically like, what I do is a visual diary. So what happens is, like, as in a written diary, you don't always write. If you have a day that you didn't, nothing happened.
Mm-hmm.
No? So I've got 2 projects, no? So basically I'm talking especially about the first one, that is the portraits of my life when I painted myself. What happened is, like, sometimes I really need to express what is going on, and sometimes no. Sometimes I am okay. Especially my inspiration comes when I am a little bit struggling with something, no? So in that moment, I really, really need, and I take the time. In other moments, I don't need it. But for me, art is a need. So when I paint to other people, it's different, because they create my inspiration, or them, no? I'm always ready to paint another person, because they come with things that we can transform into a metaphors, and there's always an inspiration. When I paint to myself, basically is when I need to do it. Sometimes I do it just for fun, but I am always expressing something. So yeah.
Yeah, it's something that you need, and it's, I guess that makes it a little bit more difficult too, is when it's more honest and openness from yourself. So I love that.
Yeah.
Do you have a greatest inspiration or a favorite book or YouTube clip or anything else that you draw inspiration from? And then maybe we could too.
Well, my biggest inspiration is nature. I used to come to a village every weekend and even in the summers. So I usually live surrounded by mountain. Well, I live in a city. However, I used to escape every time I could to go to this place full of mountains and nature. So at the same time, I came back to flowers, as at the beginning. But this is true, and it reminds me a lot to my family, my mom, my dad. So, and I can do a lot of metaphors based on nature and mix with meditation and Buddhist philosophy. For example, the icon of the meaning of the metamorphosis of the butterfly, the lotus flower, water. They are elements that they got a lot of meaning, and I can convert it into my own meaning. So this is another thing that inspired me. Other things are psychology in general. After studying psychology and art therapy, I'm more able to explore myself. It's not something difficult because I have been doing it for a long time. So my main source actually are my own experiences and my own feelings and emotions that I convert into metaphor using elements from Buddhism, from nature. Apart from that, sometimes when I want to express something because sometimes I express my own feelings. Sometimes I feel very upset about something that is going on in the world, and I want to express it. For example, I got a picture about the war, so my inspiration in that moment were the news, seeing how the refugees and all these things. So sometimes it's that. Sometimes are a movie like the 13 Roses is a Spanish movie that speak about the women that were shot after the Franco regime, the dictator. So I wanted to protest about it, and this is what I do. So inspirations come from every single part, but especially from my thoughts, my feelings, and my emotions.
Yeah, and I love how, as you're just answering that question, I could just envision your art too, because you really are able to take the things that inspire you and put them into your art. And I think that is what art is all about, is taking the things that you love, the things that are important to you, the things that you want to surround yourself with every day, and incorporating them into your art in a way of expressing yourself. So congratulations to you.
Thank you.
Laurita, this has been amazing, but it is time for the final push.
Yeah.
And this is where I ask you to kind of reach to the microphone and just grab the shoulder of one of the listeners that you've really inspired today and just give them your best advice and push them to pursue their creative passions.
I will say keep going. This is always keep going despite whatever happens, because only people who keep going can arrive where they want. It's also important that the people respect their own times. So everyone has different times and different moments. So don't rush yourself. I would say also to experiment with materials, create with the heart. And I would say also that this process is even more important than the result, the artwork. So people will be able to find the essence of the artworks completely related to the essence of the human being when you have been experiencing all that much. Make mistakes. Thanks to this, the artist will find their own style. And especially, and this is very important, enjoy and flow with the creation, enjoy with it. So exhibitions, things related to sellings and all these things will come later, probably or not, but art is an end, it's an objective in itself. So just enjoy it and flow, because human beings have this power of doing art and art is something amazing, and don't allow that nothing stop you to create something.
I love it. Yeah. I think the one thing that humans can do, Homo sapiens can do a lot of things that animals cannot, but I think that art is a way to express ourselves in ways that, that transcend words, that transcend languages, that transcend time even. It's just a way to really just express what is going on in the world and within ourselves. And I really think that your art is amazing, and I love what you do. I love that you are using the human body as a canvas and expressing yourself, like I was saying before, with, exactly what you feel about the world and being able to express that through painting on yourself. I think it's just amazing. So just thank you so much for coming on the show and for giving us that push.
Thanks to you, young man.
Of course. And if you are interested, if you have not looked at her art yet, you have to go to lauritamazapan.com. That's LauritaMazapan.com. On Facebook, she is Laurita Mazapán Artist. And on Instagram, she is Laurita Mazapán. And of course, you can head to yourcreativepush.com/Laurita to find all the links to all the resources we talked about today, as well as the show notes and some of her art. Definitely recommend checking this one out. So, Laurita, thank you again.
Thanks to you. Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you so much, Laurita, for coming on the show. Find your gold, people. Whenever you find that thing that makes you feel that joy, even if you're not very good at it, like Laurita was saying, she wasn't too impressed with herself with her first body painting, but like, if you see what she's doing now, you will just totally understand and totally get that she found her gold. So whenever you find that thing that just brings you joy, it's time to start going down that path. Time to start really focusing in on that thing. Don't worry about sales. Don't worry especially about what other people think, because if you do, and if you start taking their advice to kind of get back to painting flowers, like Laurita was saying, you might find yourself in a 10-year gap where you're just not motivated to create anymore because you don't like the thing that other people are telling you to create. So, find that gold, find that joy, and just go for it full force once you do. But that is all I've got for you today. Hopefully you were inspired to go and get your work done. So go and get it done. Have a wonderful, productive weekend. Get a lot of stuff done. Be your unique selves. And we will catch you on Monday if you need the push again. Have a good one, everybody. Bye. Never miss a push. Head to yourcreativepush.com/subscribe to find the easiest way for you to subscribe to the podcast.